That's the wrong button. Let's try that again. I'm stuck between wrong buttons. Oh my goodness. Oy vey. Welcome to the live stream. Okay. Why isn't the path of peace paved with the rigidity of rule keeping? The path of yang can take you many places. The path of being rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and even cruel is an energetic path. It can take you many places, but peace is not one of them. In fact, trying to use rigidity and our controlling tendencies to traverse the path of peace is a little too much like making love in the name of virginity. So, what then is the key to morality? If it's not rigid rule keeping, what could it be? What if the key to morality was simply the highest form of love? What could that be? According to the Dzogchen Lamas, the highest love is spontaneous and uncontrived. So, that sounds beautiful. That sounds lovely. How do we get there from here? We traverse the path of yin, the path of being flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and you guessed it, kind. But how does that work? How do we cultivate that? Through mindfulness and through meditation. There are many ways to do that. Which is the easiest? Which is the most effective? Let's begin with mindfulness. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we are accessing our sympathetic nervous system, which is ensconced within the thoracic region of our spinal cord. It did not evolve to help us to practice active concentration, but it has evolved to support us in perceiving, and to perceive vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. And all that is latent. All that is available every time we breathe in. And this can be summed up by the following 12 syllables of inhalation. Perceiving this very turbulent play of mind. But how's that going to make us peaceful? How's that going to help us find the centered spontaneity of love? Well, that's just the first half of the equation. What's the second half? The second half is meditation. So what then is the best way, the most effective way, the easiest way to practice meditation? Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired to access our parasympathetic nervous system effortlessly and automatically. This parasympathetic nervous system is ensconced within our spinal cord's lower lumbar region, as well as the tippy top of its cervical region. It's wired for both physical relaxation as well as mental release, as is explored in the 12-syllable recitation, relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. Or to put it a different way, every time we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation can now feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast, empty void. So there you have it. The more we practice mindfulness in harmony with each inhalation, the more we practice meditation in harmony with each exhalation, we will spontaneously experience the highest love, the love of centered spontaneity. When we walk in centered spontaneity, we might give a complete stroke to the rigid rule keepers like our friend Mace Windu, but we will do good. We will do good with our choices, with our utterances, and with our deeds. Let's tie this up in a big red bow. When we look at the source text for Dzogchen, composed by Prahe Vajra, also known as Gaurav Dorje, the first teacher of Dzogchen, in the 13th verse we could read, coining the expression, gateway to the subtle. They seek the path by isolating the mind, maintaining isolation in a secluded place. If we examine well, this is conceptual meditation. And so what we see here is that the path of yang, the path of rigidity, the path of forcing is ineffective. And so we do not traverse that path. We traverse the path of allowing. I look forward to chanting and meditating with you after about 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School, a guy who has accomplished expertise in each school of Buddhism, but with a very limited wardrobe. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. We do not need to chant to become a Buddha. We do not need the blessings of a real or imagined celestial entity to become a Buddha. Why then do we chant? Because beginning and ending our meditation session with a consistent act creates a sense of structure that many people take comfort in. And so we're going to use words of empathetic bodhicitta and enthusiastic refuge to exercise the neural pathways that will support us on our spiritual journey. Our first of two recitations is going to be rather literal, and we're going to set this first recitation up to a triplet chant together. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging, by relying on thee, Buddha's example, instructions, and students. These three things right here are so useful that they've earned the metaphoric nickname of the three wish-fulfilling jewels. And they are alluded to in this second and final pre-meditation recitation, which is concise and metaphor and figurative, and which we are setting to the bookend chant. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. Now, together, as a team, let us meditate as transformatively as Yoda on Dagobah under the guidance of the Force Ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn. As children, our primary or secondary caregiver most likely bolted training wheels upon our first bicycle, and although it was clunky, it got the job done. Speaking of clunky, tonight's first meditation is going to consist of inhalation's 12-syllable recitation, perceiving this very turbulent play of mind, followed by exhalation's recitation, relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. Let's play with this just to get warmed up, just to coordinate our cooperation with our inhalation and our exhalation and the factory installed settings of our autonomic nervous system. If at any point during the remainder of this evening's live stream you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Of course, it'll help if you also click the send icon. We're now going to remove the first of two metaphoric training wheels and transition from 12-syllable exercises to 3-syllable exercises. As we breathe in, we could silently and mentally recite, "Notice this." And as we exhale, we could silently and mentally recite, "Relaxing." Sometimes it can feel like our circumstances or our body or our relationships or our own mind is beating us up like the schoolyard bully. So when that happens, it can be useful to play with labels, not to change our experience, but to harness the raw, crackling energy of the present moment. We can play with 3-syllable words such as appearance, resonance, sensation, this flavor, this fragrance, and the like, including emotion, intention, cognition, recollect, and imagine. These labels are used on our in-breath. During our exhalation, we stick with relaxing. So right now, I'm feeling kind of yucky physically, so that would be sensation, relaxing. Now, our inner Mace Windu, our inner cranky perfectionist might say, well, that's not precise. You're not precisely feeling a sensation. You're feeling pain. Well, that's true. But we're trying to use labels that help us stay in non-duality. So instead of saying pleasure or pain, we're saying sensation. Instead of saying disgusting or delicious, we're saying flavor. I think you see where we're going with this. Instead of saying happy or sad, we're saying emotion. We're still being honest, but we're using non-dual indicators to strengthen our peace. Let us now remove the second of two metaphoric turning wheels and transition from the 3-syllable exercises to their 1-syllable counterpart. During each inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. And during each exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the monosyllabic verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax. And it should come as a little surprise that converting three-syllable labels into one-syllable labels can require a bit of the old poetic license. So we could refer to physical sensation as form and emotional sensation as feel. We could refer to recollection as with the preposition then, and we could refer to imagine using the verb dream. Congratulations. Intellectually know all that you need to become a Buddha. All that you need to master the Buddha's Eightfold Path. All that's left at this point is to simply practice it at least every 12 hours for as little as 7 consecutive days. I check for questions about once every 9 minutes or so. So if it feels like a short eternity between you typing a question and me responding, please do not take it personally. When we hear ambient noise in our environment, here is harnesses that kinetic momentum and uses it to turn the metaphoric wheels and gears and cogs of the meditation machine. The same thing when we close our eyes and begin to see a light show. That is neither an indictment nor an acquittal. It just is something that might happen. Good evening, Brock. Thank you for asking a question. Brock wrote, I I live closer to a big city now. They have Buddhist temples there. What is the protocol for visiting and attending a service at a Buddhist temple? Now that is a culturally sensitive question. Good on you, Brock. Most, not all, but most Buddhist temples are more cultural centers than they are Buddhist centers. They're more interested in meeting the needs of the first generation immigrants of a specific cultural sect or subsect. Many of them have no outreach for people who are not of their language and not of their culture. A good faith gesture would be for you to send them an email or call them on the phone and just say, just be honest. I'm an American. I'm very enthusiastic about Buddhism. I've been studying meditation with some guy online. I'd like to visit your temple. I wish to be culturally respectful. Would you please tell me what the protocols are? Now, if you're very, very fortunate, they will speak English and they will care. They will care very much that you are being respectful of their culture, that you are curious about Buddhism, and they'll be elated to give you the lowdown on the hoedown, give you the 411, and all that kind of good stuff. But also, they might not. And if they are not fluent in English or they don't give a flying fuck about you, that's not because of Buddhism, that's because of human beings. And there's all kinds of human beings. I remember one time when I was temple hopping, I stood outside in the rain and the cold, and they wouldn't let me in the temple. The person manning the intercom did not speak English, and he didn't care. And that was very, very heartbreaking to go through that. So, like I said, regardless of someone's haircut, regardless of the garments that someone wears, not all people are the same. Not all people are as loving or as wise or as bilingual as we would prefer them to be. So that's the advice that I offer you. And by all means, let me know how it plays out. I'm very curious. Let us seal this evening's practice with a bit of the old chanting, beginning with kind ethics and concluding with the four immeasurables. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness, flow spontaneous and uncontrived. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness, flow spontaneous and uncontrived. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness, flow spontaneous and uncontrived. May everyone be free from misery, may everyone be happy, may no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging freed. May everyone be free from misery, may everyone be happy, may no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging freed. May everyone be free from misery, may everyone be happy, may no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging freed. Whoops, wrong button. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 11 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's morning meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.